Aloha friends, Aaron from Hawaii Music School here today, and I'm answering more of your questions that I got via email. I still trying to get the hang of what a vlog is. Let's go to the emails. First question, how did you learn ukulele? Well, I learned ukulele in 4th grade, Kipapa Elementary School. It, it's one of the general classes that are taught to everybody when you first start, and I was probably the worst student in the class. When I learned to play the ukulele, it was it was kind of I didn't really get into it until much later. I think around ninth grade is when I really started playing the ukulele. The 4th grade is kind of like you play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and all that stuff. When I learned to play the ukulele was my younger brother had brought home an ukulele because he was now in the 4th grade, and he was learning how to play it, and I heard him playing the same stuff I played, and it was so irritating because at that time already I was a guitar player. I was like, give me that thing, and I kind of I figured out how to play the chords that he had the paper for, and I started doing it, and I taught him how to do it, and then he started bringing home CDs from like the Ka'au Creator Boys and stuff, and from there, that's how I learned. I would listen to Troy Fernandez playing. But once I got the hang of it, I really started going, and Troy was a huge influence on me. As far as formal lessons, I had my dad. He bought me a Kamaka ukulele, and I went and um, I went and took 2 classes at Roy Sakuma Studios. And when they put the paper in front of me, I kind of realized like maybe I should probably just learn by ear because this doesn't even look like sheet music. It's not to take anything away from Roy Sakuma, their system works. They have a lot of people that play, and the Roy Sakuma Ukulele Festival is chock full of kids that are learning that method and can play really well. It just wasn't for me. Next question. I see you teach lessons on Skype. How does that work? Well, Skype actually works pretty well. You can ask the question right there. I still think that in-person lessons are a lot better because, when I'm used to when somebody's playing in front of me, I can just grab their finger and put it there. Just be like, here, okay, hold your hand like this and grab their hand and actually show them. On Skype, we can't do that. So it forces me to actually be a better teacher, really. I have to kind of like think about what I'm doing more so I can explain it to somebody that I can't, physically correct. There are a few complications. If there's bad weather in your area or my area, then it kind of, it messes with the connection and stuff. You can't really jam with them because there's a delay going between them and you. It's better than not having a teacher. Hopefully, I answered that question. Um, who makes your ukulele? This ukulele is made by Jeb Weimer. Jeb Weimer is one of the best builders around. And the thing that I really liked in working with Jeb was that he asked me what I wanted. And I said, well, I'd like an all-coil ukulele. And so the next day, he's like coming over and he's showing me samples. And he worked with me the whole way. Because I was working in Haleiwa at the time. And so Jeb would come over with a neck and he'd be like, okay, how does this feel? I can take more off of here. I can do this. And it was the process of going through having a custom ukulele built by Jeb Weimer was pretty amazing for me because he wanted everything to be exactly the way I wanted it. And that's something that I think, the personal relationship with the guy building your instrument is something that I really appreciate with Jeb. And the fact that we became such good friends through the process makes me want to actually go buy another uke from Jeb. I got really, really attached to this ukulele. And so Jeb makes my high G ukulele. My low G ukulele is made by Ko'olau ukulele. And for those of you that know ukulele, Ko'olau is pretty much like, the pinnacle of ukulele. And I really love my Ko'olau instrument. It's a redwood top and the sides and back are made out of Cuban mahogany, and it perfectly matches what I look to do with the low G. It was my first custom ukulele, and I had it. I actually had it made. It must have been 2012, and to this day, it's still one of my favorite instruments that I play, and it goes all over the world with me. So whenever I go play in the mainland and stuff like that, it comes with me. Ko'olaus can take a beating, man, because I've beat on that top so much, and that uke still sounds good. In fact, it sounds better than when I first got it. Ko'olau and Weimer are my two ukuleles I use. The Weimer is the high G, the coal one, and the Ko'olau is my low G with the redwood top. So, yeah, I hope that hasn't been too long-winded of an answer. Let's see what's next. Do you play baritone too? Yes, I do. I play baritone. I really love playing the baritone ukulele, and I don't think enough people play the baritone ukulele. And one of the things that I'm gonna be doing is putting out more content for baritone ukulele. What else we got? Who do you think is the best ukulele player? Man, that what is best? Best I think is subjective. There has to be like parameters for it. Technique wise, Corey, hands down. The guy is monstrous. Jazz ukulele, of course, Uncle Benny Chong, one of the best up and coming jazz ukulele players I've ever seen, is Abe Lagrimas Jr. As far as this being a genius goes, you've got guys like Imua Garza. Imua is gifted. He's blessed by God in the sense that he can literally play anything. Another guy that's like that is Jeff Linsky. He's played with everybody. The guy's phenomenal. And the thing with Jeff is he thinks in counterpoint. He'll think of a melody, and then he thinks of all of the notes that are, like lifting that melody, and not in the sense that we think in terms of harmony. He thinks in literal counterpoint, and he does it in real time, which blows my mind. That guy, genius level, yeah, would be Jeff and Imua. Jake Shimbukuro. I mean, when he first came out, I was just like, wow, what the hell is this guy doing? He took it to a whole new level. I don't know. There are so many guys that I really love listening to. Most underrated players, probably, I would think Brian Tolentino is, a lot of people hear his playing and they appreciate it, and they see him playing with groups, and they're like, oh wow, he's a really good player. But until you really listen to Brian play, you don't realize how good the guy actually is. He's phenomenal, and I wish he would, play more solo shows and stuff to showcase just how wonderful his playing is, because he's amazing. Calais is just monstrous. Noah Campbell. Noah is so good at slack key guitar that people forget that he's an ukulele player. But his ukulele playing is off the charts. He has a very, very Hawaiian sound to his playing. I don't think we can answer this question. I don't think there is a best ukulele player. I think it's who is your favorite ukulele player would be a more apropos question. What do you think is holding people back from reaching their musical potential? I can only speak for myself, and what holds me back from reaching my musical potential is myself. I get in my own head. Sometimes I'm too lazy to practice. Sometimes I think of it as practice, which is something that can hold you back too. You have to play the ukulele. Who do you think are some of the best ukulele teachers today? Man, there's so many good teachers. I can only speak about my area and the guys that I've seen. Audrine is probably one of the best teachers I've seen, and Ukulele Underground is a fantastic resource. If you go on there, you've got a forum, you've got like the videos that he puts up, and YouTubes, and you can see this guy teach, and he goes very slow, and he allows everybody to be able to just pick up what he's saying. And I think that's what makes a good teacher. You don't have to be the guy that can play anything or something like that. If you want to be a really good teacher, the point is to reach the student and help them achieve the goals that they've set for themselves. And I think Audrine is very good at that. In the same sense, Matt Dahlberg. Matt Dahlberg is a Skype teacher, and he's based out of Washington State. And he is, just really, really good at helping people understand something. And great teachers are guys that help people understand things. Kimo Hussey, he can break down something that you completely didn't even know was really that relevant, and show you just how important it is. I mean, he has a a whole system of teaching that he works his way through, and you know, amazing ukulele teacher. My mentor, Todd Adamski, was probably the best music teacher I've ever met. And it was because Todd could speak everybody's language. He had a way of communicating with people and letting them know that his whole goal was to get you to be a better player. And it it comes back to mentorship to me when I really think about it. Like, what makes a great teacher is the students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if they if they understand that your goal is to make them achieve their goals, they're more, I guess, teachable. And when they become more teachable, and there becomes a trust and a relationship built in there, then it benefits the teacher and the student so much more. Terry Brown is a great teacher. He plays in the way that I like to play, that Hawaiian style. And the cool thing is, like, when you find a good teacher, it's reflected in their students. Their students have success. Terry always posts videos up on his YouTube page of his students playing, and they can really play. That reflects how good of a teacher Terry is. Jody Kamisato, again, another phenomenal teacher. Dr. Trey Terada, he was Jake's teacher, right? There you go, right? The student, if the student is good, that shows how good of a teacher Trey, right? So you can't beat that. Brian Tolentino teaches on Skype, phenomenal teacher. Gordon Mark is a legendary teacher here in Hawaii, fantastic ukulele teacher. Um, all of these guys, every one of them have the one thing in common, is that they want nothing more than to see their students get to the best that they can be, and I think that's what makes a great teacher. Um, Again, there are great teachers all over the world. I only know of those guys because they're on the island, and even then, I've missed so many of the great teachers here, because that would be a whole different. It'd take a whole video like this for me to tell you guys about just the guys on this island alone. So, yeah. Who builds the best ukulele? Again, another subjective question. Holy crap, you guys are just killing me here with these. Um, who builds the best ukulele? I don't think you can nail it down. I think Chuck Moore builds like one of the, pieces of art, man. Like, holy crap. More better ukulele. Have you seen Uncle Ed's ukuleles? Chuck Moore builds those. And those things are phenomenal. Every single one I've played is better than the one I played before. And that one was already amazing. So, Chuck builds some of the most amazing ukuleles on the planet. Eric Devine, his ukuleles are just beautiful, and they play wonderfully. And Jeb, of course, is a great builder. No Bonk from Ko'ola Ukuleles, phenomenal. And these are only the boutique guys. You got Kanilea, you got Kamaka, and you got Koloha, the three Ks that everybody talks about all the time, right? Like, these ukuleles are they're legendary for a reason. Koloha, I played a custom built Koloha one time, and I swear to God, it was as loud as my guitar. And I was like, oh wow, this thing just really rings. And man, Kanilea, every time Joe Souza's got like some of the nicest wood that I've seen. His core stash that he has, it would blow the mind of just about anybody. And he is a real woodhead. Like, he could tell you, seeing the ukulele, what log that came from. And it's because of his passion in the way they put these ukuleles together. He looks at that wood, and it's like it becomes an instrument that becomes like a child of his. And so they always like seeing the old Kanileas come back in and get service, because they're like, oh man, I remember making this. It's very nostalgic for them. Kamaka, 101 years they've been around now. And they've built some of the best and most iconic ukuleles on the planet. There's a ukulele that's transferred from person to person. Every time there's a new artist with Kamaka, They uh, they hang on to this ukulele that they call the hammer for a little bit. And if you get a chance to go into the ukulele site and Kale Gamiao happens to be working, ask him about the hammer and he'll tell you a story about that one. Jake's ukulele, it's become synonymous with quality. Kamaka ukulele is like, man, when you become a professional ukulele player, the best thing about it is you get to go and have a kamaka mate. You get your signature ukulele mate. I mean, they've made ukuleles for everybody, and like Jake's uke is some of the most beautiful koi you've ever seen. He's got like one with the purple binding and one with the blue binding, and just Kalegami out. His ukulele is beautiful. It's Brazilian rosewood with a cutaway, with a bear claw spruce top. Um, yeah, Kamaka really builds them great. So who builds the best ukulele? A completely subjective question. Joji Kanda builds some of the most phenomenal ukuleles. There's a guy named Jason Wolverton that his ukuleles are just, I mean, wow, stunningly beautiful. LDFM. If you ever want to see like who makes the best ukulele, go look on the ukulele site and just pull up all the prestige brand stuff, and you'll see all of these ukuleles that are just mind blowing. And then they've got sound samples too, so you can judge for yourself as far as like who builds the best ukulele. I don't think there is a best. It would definitely be all of those guys though. And on any given day with any given uke. So again, another question that I didn't really answer, but tried to answer. I guess that's all the questions and time we have for today. I'm sorry if this has gone over um, longer than it should, but yeah, I hope I've been able to answer some questions and add value to the ukulele community. So aloha.